we are performing really bad, and our results are really bad in the moment. So it's everything together: the players, the staff, the technical stuff. So I'm not taking responsibility. I'm just pointing that I'm the biggest responsible of the performance and the results, because I'm the coach and I have that responsibility. First of all, I want to talk about that. I was talking more for myself than from my players, because I was talking that, and you have to find out a coach that starts a job and lose 8 games, I think, 7 games in the first 10. It's more for me. I was talking more about me than the players. I also talk in the same response about I was not helping my players. If you look around, every time I speak, and I speak a lot, every time you push about the players are not good enough, I never put the spot on my players. So I understand. I gave you that headline, and I'm frustrated.
And Harry, how does that land in the dressing room when you hear your manager describe the team as possibly the worst in the club's history?
No, I think as players, obviously after the game, we was really frustrated, disappointed. Coming off the back of a good away performance and then beating Southampton, going into the game, we was confident and we felt like we had the belief that we can go and beat Brighton, and ultimately we didn't perform well enough on the day. So we've got to look at ourselves. We've got to take responsibility on ourselves. And as an individual, that's what I do. I go home and think about how I can help this team improve and get back to where we want to get back to, and that's challenging a lot higher than we are in the league. So for me, it's about us players just taking responsibility on ourselves and improving individually, which will help the team improve. Whether I'm captain or not, I do see myself as a leader in this group of players. I'm experienced now. I've been at the club over 5 years, and I know that in times when you play for this club, that there's so many ups and downs, and every game that you lose, there's a lot of scrutiny on the players, and players get targeted, and I think that's part and parcel of playing for this club. You've got to accept and take the responsibility on, and I think, look, I look at previous players, and I've spoke about this before, the likes of players like Wayne Rooney and David Beckham. They had a large amount of scrutiny on them, and they was world-class players. So if it can happen to them, it can happen to anybody, and it's part and parcel of playing for this club. And listen, playing for this club's a huge privilege and a huge honour, and I wouldn't change it for anything.
Just regarding that scrutiny, I mean, Joshua Zirkzee had some dreadful stick a few weeks ago, and he's played well since. Did you ever speak to him, because you've been through similar experiences at times?
No, I sent him a message privately after the game. But listen, Joshua's a good player. You don't play for this club if you're not a good player. He's got to bring that belief out and that confidence out in himself. And I always say in football, there's always another game, and there's always a next opportunity. And with Josh obviously coming on against Arsenal, he really changed the game for us. And then to score that winning penalty, probably give him a lot of confidence and belief that he belongs at this club. So the fans have been brilliant with him. We have amazing fans, and they stick with us through thick and thin, and when times are tough, they really get behind you and support you. And I felt that, and Josh, I'm sure, would have been feeling that over the recent weeks. But it's not really about individuals, it's more about as a team. We're disappointed as a team. We want to get higher in the Premier League and start challenging at the top end of it. And this season, ultimately, we haven't been good enough.
And someone has to take responsibility for the fact that Manchester United are 14th in the...
I'm not taking responsibility from the players. What I'm saying, that is the message that you guys show, was that I was putting on the players. What I was saying is that you have to look really hard to find the team of Manchester United in 10 games that lose 7 games. In that is on me, because it's the same players doing worse with a new coach. That's my only concern in the moment. But I'm not taking anything from the players. What I'm saying is that we have to improve in the details, and I explained that. The way we play, we are too nervous with the ball, too nervous, really anxious. And then if you have a little bit experience in this game, when you fall in this type of context, it's really hard to go up, especially when you are a massive club. So that was my only point. It was the best point to do it after that loss in the way I do it. Maybe not, but it is what it is. And I'm like that all the time. So I'm not taking responsibility from the players. I'm saying, I'm really direct in things. I'm saying in this moment, we are performing really bad, and our results are really bad in the moment. So it's everything together, the players, the staff, the technical stuff. So I'm not taking responsibility. I'm just pointing that I'm the biggest responsible of the performance and the results, because I'm the coach and I have that responsibility.
Ruben, you've spoken a couple of times about the anxiety that you feel sometimes at Old Trafford. Is it becoming harder to play there at the moment as opposed to being away? And is there anything you can do to combat it, that feeling of kind of nervousness, anxiety when you play home games?
I think that is clear. I could say different things and say, no, it's the same thing. We have the support of the fans. No, we are more nervous playing at home than away, because we lost a lot of games, like 4 games in 5. So it's getting harder. What we can improve, I think, if we don't suffer the first goal, like in the 4th minute, and I remember like it's 4th minute, 10 minute, 15 minutes, and then it's really hard to calm down the team. So we need, the first thing in my mind is they cannot score. We need to score the first one. If we score the first one, I think that will change and we will play better at home in the beginning. So that's it. I think it's really clear. We are really anxious playing, especially at home, and we are suffering goals, and then it's really hard. So I think it's clear for everybody that is getting harder to play at Old Trafford. If you want, I can be delusional and say different things. Right. I say it as I saw it, and I said to the players, and I said to you, I think it's a good thing to be really honest with you. If you want me to say different things, you saw one thing, I saw one thing, and I tell you a different thing, I can start to do it. That is easier for me. But what I'm saying is that, and they know, and you can understand the game. If you are in the stadium, you can understand. So let's face it and work on it. But I'm not nervous. I'm frustrated.
You mentioned in the dressing room after the Brighton game saying these kind of things to the players directly. I'm right in saying usually you don't say anything, you wait until the next morning. Why did you change your methods for that game, and do you sometimes feel that you need to, I don't know, you said you want to shock the club, shock the players. Was that a moment where you were doing that?
No, it was not. I didn't think. That's why. I'm a young guy and sometimes I make a mistake, and that's why I don't talk about after the game. This game, I needed to talk, and maybe it was a mistake, and then I get more nervous and go to the conference really nervous, and then you said things that you shouldn't say, and that's it. Sometimes you are a young guy and then do mistakes, and you improve. I don't promise you that I will not do it again. I don't know, so I will try to improve.
James.
Ruben, you've been honest, as always, about the sort of financial realities that the club are going to face this year. There's a lot of talk of Napoli and Chelsea interest in Garnacho. If the club was to get to a point where it gets an offer that it deems acceptable for a player like that, how important is it for you that you are then able to reinvest and use that money?
Guys, I understand the question. Let's focus on the game. I don't want to talk about that, especially before a game. Our focus is that our players are here to play. We need to improve. We need to win games. To have that feeling of winning is really important for us. So let's focus on that today.
Let's take a last question.